think Sam should do an album for Christmas. I would buy it. No pressure. Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, we're going to slow things down a little bit. Yeah, I loved all that, by the way, mate, but I could never keep up with you. I run at a different speed. That's the only difference between me and you, mate, is we run at different speeds. So before we start, I just want us all to be present. Let's close our eyes and just be still for a minute. God's already with us. We haven't got to invite him in. He's here. He's always present. So let's just let go of the things that were brought with us today. I like that first song we sang in it. The line that said, I could write it down. I heard it before. Great songs. And it was about laying every fear at his feet. Every fear, I'll lay at your feet. Do that now. Lay every fear you've got in your mind right now at the feet of Jesus. At his feet. It's going to try and come back. Just let it go. Put it down. It's not doing you any favours. Lay it down. The peace of God. Let it rule in you now, in your mind, in your heart, your soul. Surrender. Surrender. Amen. Amen. That's the title of my message this morning, surrender. It's one of those words, isn't it? It's like, we know it, we sing it, we know it's the right thing to do, we know it's what Jesus did. But how hard is it to surrender? How hard is it to just surrender in an argument, in a traffic jam, in a car, just in life all day long? It's the only thing that separates us from God, is when we take back control of our life. It spoils our walk every single day. I don't know how many times I've done it today. And I don't know how many different ways I'm going to try and say this today about letting go, about surrendering, about letting God be God. You know, we've all been created differently. We're all part of one body. Sam's told me he's been preaching about the body of Christ. We're all one body. There's no separation between us. We're created. We're one entity. There's only one spirit. There's only one God. There's only one body, and it's us. We're all parts of one body. Is that your reality today? Or is there division? Is there blocks? Surrender to that reality that we're one body. You know, you don't look at your foot and go, oh, you're not part of me. You're there, I can wiggle my toes, and that's how we are. And when we interact like that, then that's when the love is in the room, isn't it? That's when the love is in the fellowship. That's when the love is in the church. That's when we operate, and that's when joy arises and peace is there, and that's the kingdom of God, isn't it? Yeah. And the way we get there is the surrender. We let go of, oh, I'm Welsh and you're English, or you're fully and I'm not. And do you know what I mean? We let go of that. We surrender that. We surrender that. We surrender that, and then we're one. It sounds a little bit new agey, but it's the truth, It's the truth. We're one. We're one. I looked at all the intros in the Gospels and Paul's letters, and he always starts off by saying, I'm a slave, or I'm a bondservant, or I'm a prisoner. He says I'm a prisoner. Who wants to be a prisoner, really? That idea that we have to surrender and become imprisoned to something, it sort of goes against our ego, doesn't it? It goes against our sense of self, our free will that God's given us. It goes against that. And that's the battle. That's where it happens. It happens right here, in the centre of your mind. That's where it is. Right there, frontal cortex. Decision-making muscle in your brain. That's where it happens. They didn't know that back in the day, but we've learned this stuff now, haven't we, with psychology and science and all that. That's how our mind works. There's things called the amygdala in your brain. I don't want a big science lesson, but we can let go and surrender in every given situation. We're going to back it up with the Word of God. We really, really are. And we can lay things down at God's feet. I'm going to use a familiar text today. One I'm sure you've all heard. It's John 13. And it's the foot washing ceremony, service, whatever you call it. John 13 verse 1. Now before the feast of Passover, when Jesus knew the hour had come, that he should depart from this world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The supper being ended, the devil having already put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, rose from supper, laid aside his garments, took a towel, and girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel which he was girded. Then he came to Simon Peter and said to him, Lord, are you washing my feet? Jesus answered and said to him, what I am doing you do not understand now, but you will know after this. Peter said to him, you shall never wash my feet. Jesus answered, if I do not wash, you have no part with me. Simon Peter said to him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Jesus said to him, he who is bathed needs only to wash his feet, but is completely clean. You are clean, but not all of you, for he knew who would betray him. He said, you're not all clean. So when he washed their feet, taking his garments and sat down again, he said to them, do you know what I've done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also to wash one another's feet. But I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Leave it there. Okay. I've heard that sermon so many times. I probably heard that sermon or that message before I was a Christian. And the message I got from it, and the message you'll get if you type in Google, what does that sermon, what does that mean, is about service and humility towards one another. Everyone agree? Everybody's heard that preached, and that's the general message that you get from that. And that is right. There's nothing wrong with that idea of that is why Jesus washed the disciples' feet, was to show humility and love. But there's so much more to it, isn't there? There's so many more layers underneath all of that stuff. And, God bless my time I had at college. I struggled at college, but what I learned to do was study the word a little bit deeper than just going on Google. And I learned some stuff, some good stuff, some stuff that helps me in my life, some stuff that helps me surrender. Some stuff that helps me know why. Some stuff that helps me feel connected and alive. Who wants some of that? Yeah. Who wants some aliveness? Who wants to be like fully alive in God? What does John 10 say? The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. But I have come that they may have life in all its fullness. You want some of that? Yeah. I want some of that. All its fullness. Abundance. Have you got that? Yeah. Have you got that today? Do you want more? Yeah? It's all its abundance. Yeah. A little aside. The enemy, by the way, isn't Satan in that saying. The thief, sorry. The thief isn't Satan. If you read that, all of John 10 in context, it's basically talking about false leadership. The things you go after, the things you follow, is the thief that comes to kill, steal, and destroy the things out of your life, the good stuff out of your life, that fullness of life. Where you haven't got it, you've let somebody steal it from you. And it wasn't Satan. Like, in that context, it's talking about the Pharisees and the leaders of the day. The leaders of the day were like Jesus was challenging them, wasn't he? Because they led the people astray. They'd come to kill, steal, and destroy. They hadn't come to do that, but that's what was happening to the people. Yeah. And Jesus came that they might have life in all its fullness. So it's not Satan. It's the things you follow. What do you follow? What is stealing from you? What's stealing things from you? Is it Instagram? You know, is it the TV? Is it sport? Is it a resentment against someone you don't like?
Yeah.
But things are stealing your life. Right now, in your mind, even before I asked us to sit down and get peaceful and pray, there was things in your mind trying to steal your attention, trying to steal your joy, trying to steal your peace, trying to steal that fullness of life out of you. You know, don't get me wrong, I like a bit of Instagram. You know, if I've got a choice between reading the Word of God and looking at two little cute chihuahuas on a Harley Davidson on Instagram, the dogs are going to win, like. Do you know what I mean? That stuff is good, isn't it? It's like, it's the life, it's the world we live in, isn't it? It's the world we live in, you know, talking about that. You know, like I did like a little 3-point thing here about how do I surrender? How do I know that I'm living in that fullness of life? How do I get there from looking at the chihuahuas? You know, like how do I even know God's real, and how do I even know God's leading? How do I know that I'm living in God's life and living my best life in God? How do I even know that? You know, I wrote three ways to get there. I could like look at how other people do it. I could go to church and watch how you're getting with God, how you're praying and how you're living out your faith and stuff like that. Like, that's religion, isn't it? And I think a lot of people settle for that. I'll just go to that church where they go, I'll sing them songs they sing, I'll go to that prayer meeting, I'll just do what everyone else does, and I might get a bit of it. But we've all found that wanting, haven't we? We've all found that wanting, and then somebody says, oh, you've got to read the Bible all the time, read the Bible every day, boring, 2 hours. You know, it's like, I'm not saying don't read the Bible. The Word of God is how we know about God, isn't it? And that Word comes alive and feeds our soul and all of that sort of stuff. But really, what is the best way that we can have our faith increased, the abundance of life, is that we actually spend time with God. Isn't it? Yeah. We surrender all of that and we spend our life with God. En Christo, Paul wrote. How many times did he write that? He wrote hundreds of times in his writings, En Christo, to be in Christ. Yeah. Like one of the best sermons I ever heard. Sam was there, I think. A guy called Jeff Richardson. And it was he was leaving college and he was like this amazing preacher. And he preached this sermon and it was the secret. You know, the secret. Paul said, I found the secret of what it is to be content in every situation. Remember the sermon? And he was like jumping up down, he's getting excited, and he was like, I'm so excited, I want to tell you what the secret is, I want to tell you what the secret is, and we sort of already knew the secret, but he was like he was going to give us again, and the you know, the culmination of this great preacher's final sermon was to be found in Christ. Yeah. In Christ. Not just this morning. Like in Asda, like sat in your bed, in the car, you know, just where you sat now. Like to be found in Christ. You know, it's like he doesn't run out. you haven't got like a limited deal with him, like a limited offer where you can only get an hour a day with him. You know, he's everywhere. He's here. He's like, you know, he's more constant than your breath. The presence of God is with you, is always with you. And the way we get there is we surrender. Isn't it? Yeah. We surrender all that stuff. We give it up. We let go. You know, we let go. We let go of our breath 15 times a minute. We're letting go all the time. And so why is it so hard to let go of the world and be in Christ? To be found in Christ. To be content. I want some of that. I want more of that. I'm getting that. I've got that. You know, I've got it more now than I've ever had. And it's amazing. You know, it's like the gaps between the episodes of me going nuts and losing it and getting angry and getting annoyed and getting fed up and getting depressed. Those gaps are shrinking, and the spaces of where I'm all right actually are growing. Yeah. Who wants more of that? Wants more of that? We've got to surrender, haven't we? We've got to, you know, don't just take my word for it. No, I'm hoping by the end of this message that I've given you something that you're going to take away with you, and you're going to think, let go, I'm in the car, I'm in McDonald's, and you know, you put a gherkin on my burger, but it doesn't matter. And you know, that you're going to be in Christ wherever you go in your life. that we might not have to come together every Sunday. It's great that we do, by the way. I'm not saying let's not come to church. But let's, like Sandra said, he came up here and said, let's not just, I'll come and get fixed on Sunday and then just go, splurge all week and then come back here. Let it be our life. Yeah. Like our breath. Yeah. Let go. Let go. Yeah. Let go. Let go. This is a long queue and I'll let go. Surrender. Let go. In Christ. Christ is in this situation. He's in this. How much better quality of life we have. Yeah. You know, for all the theology I've learned, for all the books I've learned and everything, how simple is that? It seems like too simple, but I don't believe Jesus wanted the gospel to be hard work. Yeah. I don't believe he just reserved it for people who could read Latin or Greek or, you know, it's for all of us. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. And when I was talking before about those things that separate us, identities, national identity, whatever, you know, I was talking about all the things that separate us. We've all got the breath. And we've all got a body. Before I go on, can I just ask, has everyone in the room got 2 feet? Yeah. Everyone. I have to ask, you know, I work with veterans and stuff, and some of them are, you know, but we've all got 2 feet. This message is all about the feet, isn't it? It's all about the feet. I have to ask, right? I don't want to offend anyone. If you're offended, I'm sorry. So we're going to talk about feet for a little minute. My feet are a mess, by the way. I've got no toenails, got hard skin. But Jesus made them alright. I criticise his handiwork. Right, I've got some fun facts about your feet. Right, feet, 26 bones in your feet. That's like half the bones in your body, in your feet. Think about your feet. Say to God now, thank you God for my feet. My feet are amazing. Give your toes a little wiggle. Feel connected? Yeah? Bit more connected? Yeah. 26 bones in your feet. 33 joints. 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Average to 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. Right? So each one of us, in our lifetime, walks about 115,000 miles. Right? 4 times around the world. Yeah? It's good, isn't it? When you're on your little trotters. Pretty good, aren't they? Right, get this. 250,000, right? 250,000 sweat glands in your feet. Half a pint of sweat every day into them Vans, into them Puma Yukon Bandits, right? No, I've got ugly feet, but they don't stink. Is that right, Michelle? My feet don't stink now. I'm quite lucky there. Right, so quarter of a pint, half a pint of sweat every day coming out your feet. Right, these are things that God's given us. It is a part of the design. We've all got them, and they've all got these qualities. What else is going to say about them? Right, this is a good one. This is quite important, actually. Okay. How many? 8,000 nerves, 200,000 nerve endings in each foot. Right? 200,000. So when God designs you and me, and stuck the ears on, put the nose there, put the eyes there, and paint the eyebrows on, make the chin on, he was like, right, these things at the bottom, that they're going to stand on, I'm going to put 2,000 nerve endings in them. Wow. Like I'm an electronics engineer as well as other things, and to put 200,000 little connections into something, you'd want to do it for a reason, wouldn't you? You never question that. Why are your feet so sensitive? There's more, right? I'm going to be rude, but there's more nerve endings in there than there is in there, right? Your feet are more sensitive than your genitalics, right? Designed that way. And what do? We wrap them up in leather. We wrap them up in boots and trainers and pumps and all the rest of it. And they separate us from the earth. Sounds a little bit hippie as well, doesn't it? Sounds a little bit hippie, but there's something in it. You know, There's something in this thing. There's a movement of like barefoot running and all that. I did a year myself, like running around with no shoes on, and it's amazing. And I felt so connected. Going along, like awake, like alive, like fully alive, and in the moment. Yeah, like the breath brings you into the moment, doesn't it? Brings you into now. Into the moment. You surrender into the present moment when you stand on a pebble, when you're running. Wow, yeah, buddy! Speaking in tongues, running along the tracks. Right? It hurts. But then, if you read back the old books and all that, that's how we were designed. Like in some countries, they still run barefoot. And they just happen to be the best runners in the world, where they run barefoot. Isn't that the truth? Because your foot has got all these muscles and tendons and everything. It's amazing. Right? There's nothing in technology that can match the mobility and the sensitivity of this thing that God made on the end of your foot. And we wrap it up in a bit of cotton and leather and rubber. And don't think about it too much. And I think the foot, if the foot's a part of the body, it's the most humble, undervalued, strongest, versatile, funny, aren't they feet? Mine are. Mine are hilarious. I was going to take my boots off that one. Yeah, they're amazing, aren't they? What an amazing part of the body. And that Jesus would use this part of the body to carry a message that might change your life. That might give you more life, more abundance. Yeah, connected to your feet right now. Can you feel your feet? You're in the moment. Wiggle your toes. You're in the moment. In this moment. In the present. Stood on your feet. Carrying you about everywhere you go. Carried you into this church this morning. Carried you into wherever you've been. They're amazing, aren't they? And you've got total control of them, by the way. You are in total control of those things, those amazing things on the bottom of your feet. So when you get things wrong, no condemnation and all that, but when you get things wrong, they took you there. You're in control of them. When you went to the place you shouldn't have gone to, whoop, off we go, right? You're in control, right? So you've got no one else to blame. So these feet, amazing, amazing things. Sensitive, 8,000 nerve endings. Sensitive, ticklish. Who's got ticklish feet? Right? Got ticklish feet. But do you know that in the same way that you can control your feet and the different parts of your body, you can control whether or not somebody can tickle your feet? Do you know that? You've got that much mental control. Like, somebody comes to you and goes, right? And you can tell yourself that somebody's not going to tickle your feet. You have got that much mental control. We are wired that way. We're designed that way not to react. Yeah? We're not slaves. We have got that much mental control. God has designed us in such a way that same part of the mind that makes this, that allows us to surrender, allows us to accept everything as it is in a moment. And there's, in all that, there's some reason for that He made us so sensitive there, that when He came and washed their feet, and there's something there. There's something there. There's something that He came to the lowest part of our body. He came down. He lowered Himself. He surrendered to serve you. Right? I'm getting somewhere with this, all right? So going somewhere with this. He surrendered to serve you. Jesus came to serve, not to be served. Okay? Jesus came to serve, not to be served. Why do we insist so much on serving Jesus? Challenge. He came to serve us. Challenge. Wow. He loves us. He would do anything for us. He died for us already. Right? He would do anything for you. Anything. If you let Him. If you let Him. You've got to allow it. See where I'm going? Peter didn't want Him to do it. He didn't get it. Not just my feet, my hands and that. He was just totally not in the moment. When Jesus said, when Jesus took his gear off to fill the bowl with foot washing, Peter was looking at chihuahuas on Instagram. He just didn't get it. He wasn't there in the moment. Like, Jesus, they've just had their dinner, they're around the table, they've just had their dinner, just finished eating. Right, normally like when the Viennetta was going to come out, or pudding, or coffee, Jesus gets naked, stands up after dinner, takes his clothes off. Says it. I've had people arguing with me here. It says he removed his garments. Right? He might have kept his undies on, but he got naked after dinner. Right? Jesus. Right? The Lord of heaven took his clothes off at the dinner table. I'm not being irreverent. I'm not. That's what it says in the Bible. Right? To me, he got vulnerable. Yeah. He took his mask off. He took his three-piece off. Getting a bit warm now. He took it all off. Yeah. He exposed himself. He got vulnerable. He got real. Yeah. He wasn't pretending. You know, he was getting really real. And he wrapped the towel around himself. Some of the books say he did that. He took his clothes off voluntarily because, like, very soon after they ripped them off him. Actually, and as part of the plan, showed it by taking them off. And he served. He got down and he washed their dirty feet. He did that. And he says, I've given you an example. Yeah, then don't lose sight of what that message is about humble and serving each other. But like, he does that to us. Yeah, he serves us. He gets down in the dirt for us. Look at all the stories in the Bible where it's a descent. You know, the world's always about bigging people up. Like, Sam bigged me up, great. Yeah? It's how we operate, isn't it? He bigged me up. But really, you know, I'm just an ex-alcoholic guy who's beating people up and being a thief in my life and all the rest of it. Yeah, Jesus died for all that. Like, I'm redeemed, all right? I'm loved by God. Right? I'm loved. But I still sin. I'm not going to lie and say I don't, right? I still swear quite a lot. I'm a sailor, eh? Not making excuses, right? But there's always a descent, a humbling of ourselves. I just wrote down a couple of things here. Like the woman caught in adultery, she was thrown on the floor in front of Jesus. Then Jesus went down to her. He wrote on the ground, and he went down, humbled himself. He went down to where she was. Do you see, Jesus will always go to where you are. You don't always have to come to where you think he is. Yeah, he's here. Yeah, of course he's here. And this is great that we meet. But like's already been said, life's out there. Life's out there in the towns and at home and in the shops and in work and in school and all of that stuff. And when people are struggling, you want to serve God, you get down. You go down. If somebody's caught in adultery, you don't join in the gossip. Yeah, she had an affair. Oh, yeah, well, you know, did she get what she deserves? You get with that woman. You get with that man. You know, you get alongside them.
It's good.
Mary and Martha. Martha's in the kitchen, all whipping up a pizza that Jesus didn't order. Where's Mary? Mary's down here. Kneeling at Jesus' feet. We'll have a story in a bit more. Zacchaeus. Where's Zacchaeus? Up in the tree. What does Jesus say? Come down. It's a descent. Descent into the presence of God. You want to get with God, you get down. You get low.
That's good.
Where's your feet? Down low. It's always a descent. We always think, oh yeah, let's get up and I've got to strive and push and work hard and be good and give loads and turn up for everything that's on at church and all the rest of it. But no, that's not what I'm seeing. You know, the spiritual life is always about a descent. Unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it can't do anything. We had a retreat last weekend, and me and Michelle and friend James there, we do these retreats, we go away weekends, and we introduce people to the gospel in a weekend. And generally they're people who've really struggled in life. Alcoholics, addicts, drug addicts, people who relate to these people who've struggled. And I've been doing it since I've been doing it since I left college. We go do these weekends, we turn up, room full of strangers, and it's teaching like this. It's always about surrender, about admitting how weak we are, how powerless we are. And a lot of them guys, they haven't got to really go a long way from where they are to admit that they're falling. So but that's like an advantage. Eh? That's my story, by the way. Yeah, alcoholic for years. Yeah, I haven't had a drink for 16 years now, okay? Amazing. Surrendered. And yeah, the power of God we get to see in people's lives. I helped one guy who turned up in his car. He was late for dinner. This was a few years ago now, and the guy hosting the thing said, "Can you go and get that guy out of his car?" And I went to this guy's car. This big guy sat in his car drinking a bottle of whiskey. Oh my God! 24 hours later, that guy knelt down, gave his life to Christ. He's a vicar. He's got 2 churches in Stoke-on-Trent. All happened in about 5 years. Yeah, he surrendered. He submitted. Yeah, he'd had enough. Yeah. He'd let go of all of that. Yeah. And then through a simple weekend away. See, this doesn't have to be. It's not going to take forever and ever and ever to be. We've got God now, in the moment. Yeah. You guys, you got Him in the moment. They do one of these retreats for some church leaders. And there's a bit in it where we have to sort of confess to each other the things we've done wrong. And the church leaders were really uncomfortable. They left. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. We run churches and stuff, yeah? Honesty. James 5, confess your sins to one another and you will be healed. Yeah, he wants to be healed. I want to be healed. I want more wholeness in my life. Yeah. More healing in my life. We finished last week with the story of Jesus preaching in the house, and they brought the paralytic guy to him on a mat. And again, they lowered him down into the presence of God. Yeah. It's always a coming down. If you want to be present with God, you've got to come down. Out of here. Out of here. Because this will take you up. This will take you to the Instagram. This will take you to the I've got to earn loads of money. This will take you to I've got to be popular. This will take you to I've got to fit in with these guys who are gossiping about that woman who got caught in adultery. Like this. Yeah. I believe this is when at the crucifixion they put the crown of thorns here. I believe it's symbolic that the mind got crucified first. Chat about that later if you don't believe me. We'll talk about it. Yeah? And then his hands and his feet. So he couldn't run away. But he's not going anywhere. Down. Always a descent into the presence of God. Always. You want more God in your life? You want to be with God more? You get down with Him. Yeah. All summer long, Michelle's been. We have different quiet times in the morning. She goes out in the greenhouse. Gets in the greenhouse, a couple of cushions, got her Bible and that there. She's out there. Down on the ground with the weeds and the earwigs and the slugs. For a good half hour every morning, and she makes me a coffee. Winner! She's brilliant. Yeah? So if you want to be with Jesus, you want to be like Jesus, you get down to where the people are struggling. Yeah. You get with them. Yeah, in the mess. Good. In the mess. Yeah. Always going down. 2 Corinthians 1 verse 2 and 3. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort. Right, the God of all comfort. What's your comfort? Like God used to be my comfort when my comfort stopped working and I was very uncomfortable. Yeah. Like I put the drink down, my comfort, and I was really uncomfortable, and then I had to go back to the drink. It might be food, it might be a dodgy relationship for you, it might be something, it might be shopping. What is your comfort? Yeah, it's good. Yeah? What is your comfort? God is the comfort. God is the comfort that comes when you put that thing down, when you let that thing go. What is your comfort? Who comforts us in all our tribulation, all of it, that we may be able to comfort those who are in any trouble with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. Wow! You want some of that comfort? Yeah. That's a lot of comfort, isn't it? There's 4 or 5 comforts in that comfortable, comforting Bible verse. That's comfort, isn't it? That's more comfortable than you're going to get off your screen or from a big fat pizza, or that's comfort. Yeah. I want some more of that. Yeah. I want to be in the presence of God more, His comfort. When I was first a Christian, wasn't that? I maybe have been a Christian a few months or whatever. I wasn't as cool as I am now, I would say, or I worried about, stressed about everything, and I had to go on this course, and I had to go away, and I had no money, and I just bought a house, and I bought a house from an alcoholic, ironic. I wasn't drinking at the time, but I bought this house from this alcoholic, and I got my keys, and I was so excited, and I moved from Portsmouth, I went to Somerset, and I opened the door, and I went in, he's like still in my house. Like smoking and drinking wine. He's like, mate, you don't want to stay for a few days, do you? And I was like, and this is like my first house. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I've got to go to work now. I want you out when I get back. He's like, no, I'm staying 2 weeks, mate, sort it out, he's estate agent. So I went to work, and I was in this new job, started a new job, and I was like thinking about the guy in my house, and I was just stressed about absolutely everything. And I had to work till 10 o'clock at night, and I got to 8 at night, and I couldn't stand it anymore. I thought, I'm going to go home, and I'm going to say to him, right, get out of my house, you! And I was stressed and worried about everything, and so I sneaked out of work, and I got on my motorbike, and I was going up the road, and I was worried about a million things, and went round this bend a bit too fast, and boom, I come off the bike, snapped my leg, saw the bottom of my foot come up here, spread out on the road like that. 10 years earlier, I'd had another motorbike accident when I didn't know God. And the first time I was terrified, I was screaming and I was panicking and I wet myself and I shouted from my mom, and as I was tumbling down the road, broken on the road. This time, as soon as I lost control, I just said, Lord, before I hit the floor, I said, Lord, and the God of all comfort came, and I heard my leg snap and I watched that snap, but it was like I was over here watching it. It's like this. Wow, that looks good. Bikes flipping, sparks. Oh, I hope it catches fire. It didn't. And come to a stop on this like roundabout, and then I was back in my body, and I was like, oh, it hurts a bit. And there was all these people around, and I was lying there on the road going, God, you got me, haven't you? You got me, God, haven't you? You got me. I feel this peace come over me like that. There's these 2 girls stood outside this pub and see me crash, and they're like, ah! And they're screaming, and they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and I'm like, girls, don't worry, it'll be all right. There'll be an ambulance here soon. And they're like, ah! I was like, girls, calm down. It's like my leg. I was lying there on the road, like absolutely being held by God, comforting the people who'd been traumatized about what they'd seen. That was the first time that became real in my life. I was like really early on in my walk, like I was lying in the bed going, that happened or didn't it? Yeah, I was worried and stressed about so many things. I was like Martha on a motorbike, right? It didn't end well, right? So much good stuff came out of that, because that's what God does, doesn't He? When we surrender, we let go, it comes. I've got loads of those, but we're going to have a little discussion in a minute, aren't we, about some of the things I've talked about, and then we'll come back together. I'm going to pray, and we're going to make this real. Well, it is real. It might be already real for you. Hopefully, I'll make it a bit real for you. That this stuff is constant. That God is always present. Like when you're walking, just thinking of feet that He made. Just knowing that about your feet's amazing, isn't it? How He designed them, you know, for a purpose, for a reason. I wrote a note here, no, I'm not going to say it, I'm going to tell you else. What I believe, and this is the rub of all of it, that thing about Jesus coming to serve us, right? He came to serve and not to be served. I think the hardest thing about being a Christian, the hardest thing And yet this is the best thing, is allowing him to serve us.
Wow.
You get me?
Yeah.
Allowing him to serve us. Going back to that time in the hospital, I'm there with my leg all like flopping about. Thursday night, pardon me, I couldn't get surgery until the Monday. I'm lying in bed thinking I don't deserve a hospital bed because there's all these old boys around me like flaking out. And I'm like, I see some old boy across the room like trying to get his paper and he can't reach, and I want to jump out of bed and go and help him. You know, and the nurses are like trying to get me back in bed, and I don't want to be served. Like, I don't know what it is, whether I'm unworthy or whatever it is. Oh, I don't deserve it. I didn't want to be, you know, as a new Christian, I haven't got it yet. I didn't want to be served, like. But now I do. I'm happy with it. I'm happy to let God provide for me, to heal me, to bring the people into my life that matter and direct my steps and all of this sort of stuff we sing about. Is it your reality today that you have surrendered, that you've laid all your fear at his feet? Yeah. Is it your soul that sings? Is it your soul? Are you surrendered? Have you let go? If I came to you now and took your shoes and socks off, would you let me touch your feet? Could you? Could you let go to that point where you let a stranger touch your feet? Because that's the same sort of thing, isn't it? It's not letting go, but to let Jesus serve you, to let him minister to you. You've got to get still for a start. She'll have to get out in the greenhouse in the morning. Where'd you go? Where'd you go to let him serve you? I've said before, the best place to hide from God is here, isn't it, son?
Yeah.
You can hide from God here, can't you? You can think, oh, he's the guy.
Yeah.
But really, where do you go to let him serve you?